Ever wonder what separates a kind of flat, boring AI video from a real cinematic masterpiece? Well, a lot of the time, it's just a couple of words. Today, we're cracking open the director's playbook. I'm going to show you 38 professional camera moves that you can control with simple text prompts to totally transform your AI videos.
Okay, let's just jump right in and see this in action. On the left, you've got a prompt for a futuristic city. I mean, it's okay, but it's just a static picture. It's lifeless. Now look at the right. All we did was add two little words, drone flyover. And bam! Suddenly, the city has scale, it has life, it feels like a story is about to begin. That right there is the power we're talking about.
So here's the game plan for building your AI Director's Toolkit. We're going to start with the absolute fundamentals, Dolly and zoom. Then we'll get into how to guide your viewer's eye. After that, we go big, with epic drone and crane shots. Then we'll inject some real action and emotion, and finally, we'll wrap it all up.
First things first. Let's talk about the absolute bread and butter of any filmmaker, the Dolly and the zoom. These are your go-to tools for playing with distance, making a scene feel intimate, or creating focus. The Dolly is all about physically moving the camera closer or further away. So if you type in slow Dolly in, you're going to pull the viewer in, building this really nice sense of intimacy, or showing a character having a big realization. Now do the opposite with a slow Dolly out, and you get this feeling of isolation, or it can be a really smooth way to transition out of a scene. And if you want tension, a fast Dolly in is your friend. It just rushes right at the subject and creates instant shock. All right, now zooms. Zooms can create some really wild, stylized effects. You have the Vertigo effect. It's that famous Hitchcock shot where the camera dollies out while the lens zooms in. It gives you that disorienting, gut-punch feeling of psychological distress. Then there's the macro zoom, which lets you get impossibly close to something, perfect for sci-fi or a detective scene, and the hyper zoom. Oh man, this one is cool. It can take you from way out in space right down to a person on a street in one seamless, incredible shot. Okay, next up, reveals and pans. Think of this section as learning a bit of magic. You're not just showing a scene anymore. You're controlling exactly what the audience sees and, more importantly, when they get to see it. Reveals are just so crucial for telling a good story. You can reveal from behind something, like a column, to introduce a character with a little bit of mystery, or start with a reveal from blur to give your opening a dreamy, surreal vibe. An over-the-shoulder shot is classic for putting us right into a conversation, but my favorite might be the through shot, where the camera flies through a window or a keyhole. It feels like you're breaking into a whole new world. Now, the really cool thing about a rack focus is that the camera doesn't move an inch. You're just telling the AI to shift the lens's focus, say, from the cup in the foreground to the person's face in the background. It's such a powerful, slick way to guide the story and tell the viewer, hey, stop looking at that, look at this now. Let's talk about moving up and down and side to side. When you tilt up at a subject, you instantly make them feel powerful and imposing. Tilt down, on the other hand, is great for showing off details, like a cool pair of shoes or an important clue on the floor. Now, moving sideways is called trucking. Moving left or right creates a nice sense of depth, but here's a pro tip. Trucking to the right often gives the audience a subconscious feeling of forward momentum and progress in the story. All right, we've covered the close-up, personal stuff. Now it's time to get epic. We're talking drones and cranes. These are the moves you use when you want to create that jaw-dropping sense of awe and make your scenes feel absolutely massive.
Vertical movement is so powerful. A crane up is your classic move for rising high above everything to reveal a huge battlefield or a stunning landscape. A crane down does the reverse. It brings us from that huge scale right back down to a single person for an intimate moment. A pedestal move is similar, but it's more direct, just straight up or down. Pedestal up can make a character seem like they're gaining power, while pedestal down can show them losing influence or even just feeling a sense of relief.
Drones give us these incredible shots that used to be impossible, or at least incredibly expensive. The drone flyover is perfect for establishing those vast landscapes. An epic drone reveal is when you start low and then fly up and over something, like a mountain ridge, to reveal a hidden valley. It's just breathtaking. And a large-scale drone orbit is amazing for circling a giant object, like a castle or a starship, really hammering home its size and importance. You know, not all high-angle shots are created equal. On the left, you've got that top-down, or God's eye view. It's very symbolic, right? It can feel like you're watching pawns on a chessboard, suggesting something about fate. But on the right, an FPV drone dive is pure adrenaline.
It's a high-speed, head-first plunge that's absolutely perfect for insane action sequences. Okay, so our shots have scale, they have focus, but what about the feeling? Let's inject some raw emotion and energy. These final moves are all about creating a specific vibe and putting the viewer right in the middle of the action.
It's amazing how much the speed of a simple circle can change everything. If you do a medium speed orbit 180 around a character, it really emphasizes their presence. But speed that up to a fast 360 spin, and suddenly everything feels chaotic and intense. Now slow it way down for a slow cinematic arc, and you build this beautiful emotional depth. Same basic move, 3 totally different feelings.
When your character is on the move, how you follow them tells a huge part of the story. A leading shot with the camera in front of them looking back shows confidence and purpose. A following shot from behind creates a sense of journey or even mystery. We're on this path with them. And sidetracking right next to them is the best way to really focus on their performance and body language while they're in motion.
And finally, let's hit some powerful stylistic choices. Just add handheld documentary to your prompt for that shaky, gritty, realistic feel. A Dutch angle, where you just tilt the camera, instantly makes the whole scene feel off-kilter intense. A whip pan is a super fast pan that can either connect 2 different places or just inject a sudden jolt of energy. And for complete immersion, nothing beats a POV walk. You are literally seeing the world through the character's eyes.
And there you have it. We've gone from the simplest dolly in all the way to a crazy FPV drone dive. All these moves are your new director's toolkit. You now have the professional language you need to command that AI camera and tell some really compelling visual stories.
The biggest takeaway from all of this, the most important part, is just how simple it is. You don't have to write a paragraph, you just add these phrases: slow dolly in, epic drone reveal, Dutch angle, right into your prompt, and you'll get these incredible cinematic results. It's like knowing the magic words.
Think about that. In just the last few minutes, you've added 38 professional cinematic techniques to your creative arsenal. That's 38 different ways you can add emotion, scale, and serious storytelling power to every single AI video you make from this point forward. The technology is here, and now you have the vocabulary to control it like a real director. So, the only question left, and it's the most exciting one of all, is what story are you going to tell?